place at Corson Park, so bring the little guys down. Registration for children ages 5 to 18 years of age will begin at 9 a.m. and fishing takes place between 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. The winners will be announced shortly after noon. If anyone has any questions about any of these events, please contact the Millville Recreation Department, 856-825-7000, extension 7394. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ranello. Vice Mayor Sui.
Yeah, I make a motion to receive and file the following reports from the tax collector: the annual report of taxes not collected for 2024, and the tax collector's report for the month of April 2024.
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second to receive and file the tax collector and reports. Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Any other thing?
Oh, that's it. Thank you.
Welcome. I would like to say that zoning board will happen on June 6th at 6 o'clock. Planning board will be on June 10th at 6:30, both featured right here at the Richard McCarthy Chambers. High or tall grass. This is your warning, residents, that don't cut your grass. Violations have been sent to multiple addresses with unkept grass and weeds. An abate by date is included on the violation. If nothing is done by the abatement date, we will cut the grass and weeds by the city's authorized services, and the property will be responsible for the cost of the cut and any further administrative fees. On May 16th, along with the Home Run Derby here in Millville, we also had the Greater Millville Chamber of Commerce had the Pride in Millville awards ceremony. Every year that's well attended, and I was pleased to give opening remarks and as well as give the award, one of the business award to National Highway Products located right here nearby, and the Pride in Millville award winner was very well renowned and known and great city employee here for many years was Lou Thompson. So once again, Lou, congratulations. The spring block party, as Commissioner Ranello said, that was well attended. The music and generally totally was very good. The music, the band, they're an R&B group. I was overly impressed. I did not know what to expect, but everybody that I talked to when they're playing, it was of utter excitement and enthusiasm when they were playing. They got the crowd involved. They played, the top hits, and they were very, very, very good. And I was pleased to see that Samantha Cruz was able to get them for the spring block party. Lots of great events this weekend. Although it's a school board matter, it happens right through the city of Millville. This Friday is Olympic Day Parade starting at 10 a.m. I always look forward to that. I believe Commissioner Ranello will be there with me as well. It's a nice long walk. Get to remember the past, and I'm a proud Mount Pleasant Panther alumni. So even though that was a very long time ago, I encourage any of the other commissioners to come out for the Olympic Day Parade as well. But citywide events, we do have a lot coming up. Block Party, Ford Fridays, Play Streets will be happening soon. We do a lot of events for all ages and groups here in the city of Millville, so I do encourage the public to come out to each and every one of those that you can. Ordinances and second reading.
Okay, we just have one, which is an ordinance authorizing amendment to motor vehicle and traffic regulations, Municipal Code Article 10, Schedule 21, to remove parking reserved for handicapped persons at 719 North 2nd Street.
Make the motion.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on the ordinance and the second reading. First item is a public hearing on this. If anybody would like to address the commission on this ordinance, please come to the podium, say your name. Seeing nobody, I would close public hearing. Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Ordinances in the first reading.
All right, item 1 is an ordinance amending Millville Code, Chapter 1, General Provisions, Article 3, General Penalty, Section 17, Violations and Penalties, to update the maximum penalty now permitted under NJSA 40:49-5 for an ordinance violation from $1,000 to $2,000.
Make a motion.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on the ordinance first reading, item number 1. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 2 is an ordinance amending Millville Code, Chapter 50, Section 1, creation contained in Article 1, Millville Police Departments established in order to add one additional lieutenant.
Make motion?
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on ordinance in the first reading, item number 2. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 3 is an ordinance amending Millville Code, Chapter 30, Land Use and Development Regulations, Article 12, Zoning District Regulations, Section 30 through 117.14, Airport Enterprise District and Attachment 1, Schedule of District Regulations, in order to clarify that asphalt plants and mining operations are not permitted uses in the AE zoning district.
Make a motion?
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on ordinance in the first reading, item number 3. Any comments?
Yes, if I may. When we first got in office, the original commission, myself and another commissioner visited an asphalt plant locally that was interested in coming here to this city. At the time, I think they felt they had to support myself. We need ratables, we need work. You know, we do a lot of letters of intent for cannabis facilities and stuff. I just don't see after my trip that I did make to an asphalt plant, why we're doing this. I mean, there's no smell from that, there's no smell from marijuana. So my vote will represent my thoughts.
If you guys look at the airport enterprise zone, you'll see it bounds Cedarville Road, Silver Run Road, and you can imagine heavy truck traffic going down those roads. If an asphalt plant is built in one of those areas, I don't think the residents would like that truck traffic. I don't think we need it going by the school that way in particular. Now, I realize we're trying to develop the industrial park, but with that goes Nab Avenue and Buckshot Road, et cetera. So, but right on Cedarville Road, or right on Silver Run Road, you know, think about like right across from the airport. So I don't think you'd want an asphalt plant there. I don't know, maybe you do, but I don't think that's a good idea. So that's why I will vote accordingly.
Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt?
No.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
No.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 4 is an ordinance renaming South High Street from the intersection of East Main Street to the intersection of Smith Street pursuant to NJSA 40:67-1K to Officer Christopher Reeves Way.
Make motion?
Second motion.
We have a motion and second on ordinance in the first reading, item number 4. Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 5 is an ordinance approving an agreement of sale that would authorize the city of Millville to convey a deed of easement to the state of New Jersey.
Make a motion?
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on ordinance in the first reading, item number 5. Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Budget presentation.
Okay, so,
Budget resolutions.
we're getting a presentation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Bear with us while we set this up.
Let me get the lights.
Wi-Fi. Bluetooth.
Try going to Bluetooth. Go to Bluetooth. She said Bluetooth.
Yeah, I know, but.
Okay. All right, go back to Wi-Fi. It's not connected. Show available networks. Let's. Well, click Wi-Fi down there. Is it? Okay. All right. Okay, meeting room. Okay, connect. All right, so it is asking for a password. Can't connect to this network. Wonder if it's, I don't know why you can't connect to it. Let me go get my computer from downstairs. Maybe we can get on it there.
But I'd have to. I'd still have to access the presentation.
Do you have it on a USB? Meeting room, connect. There you go. Okay. All right. Type in. Is it capital M? It looks like it's VILLE 2021. Yes. Okay, and then let me get my phone for a minute. Yeah, I think so. That's the cast screen beam. All right, so cast screen beam. Get back. Meeting room.
Yeah, it'd be a good idea. We have no what's really good.
Meeting room.
I like that idea.
We could be like, when was the city incorporated? Where did it come from? When was the Wash Act incorporated into the city? 1917.
I thought it was 60.
Working?
I like the year 1916. That was my favorite Mercury 9. 16 day, very most item.
I'm pretty sure it said 1970.
I could have that date correct. You're probably right.
Whatever
George
the
is
cast
leaving.
screen beam is, I don't know what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, where's cast screen beam? That's what we're trying to get. Okay, is it in control? Well, it wouldn't be on her. Maybe screen beam's not on her computer. She has to access her thing. It's on here. All right, so let me try this way.
Did you look it up to see what year it was?
That's
I forgot already.
I think it's 17,
1917.
I think. I'm wondering if I'm right.
It's on it's on Wikipedia.
Sticking in my mind.
You could be right. You could be right.
I don't think I'm which would be good. I can get my mistake out of the way now.
1801, they were incorporated as a township. Until 1913.
I'm looking for where it
when the
says
mayor
cast.
council. 13 of former government to the Walsh Act.
That's what it's.
Oh,
13?
They're both.
Yeah?
All three.
All three of them.
I think it was 19 something.
I thought it was 17.
We were close.
We came from commercial township.
I don't know. I can't remember.
I think so.
I didn't have the agree.
where's the control panel? Can you find it? The control panel.
It's under display settings on that one. I didn't see it on there. I'm not really sure. Her laptop doesn't have the same as Laura's, but we have to access it through hers, so, yeah. So, no.
Maybe I'll go.
Office doors wide open.
Alexander Maxwell. Alexander's his father. I spent many hours with him, so I don't keep him away from it. Talked to him for many hours. Just come in and sit in the office. I can send it to him once in a while. Come on.
I'll have office hours.
Really?
He's a nice guy. Just a little,
Sorry, I missed him.
he's not as bad as the guy we have. I don't know if you ever talked to him, the guy that thinks he's being attacked by rabies for the next week. Not rabies, this is a different guy. He calls every once in a while. Thinks he's being some kind of raise being focused on his house. CIA is trying to get him. He's a messed up individual that time.
All right, go to Google. And yeah. All right. And then she said, three dots on the right, she has yeah, this is, all right. Just, maybe it's your laptop that have those options.
Can, if we access this, well, this one will work, because
Let
it's
me-
under display
let me try on
settings,
this
but
one.
Will you be able to access it through this one, you think?
To the agenda, and I'll just do the PDF.
nomination.
They're gonna do it without the computer.
Okay.
She can do it without the computer.
On Google, go into, she loves to share.
I hate it when it happens
Time.
in court because I have some
Okay.
electronic, display that I want to put on. It doesn't work. It always seems like it happens in the first time. These computers that your face will be apparently a long night. That screen is so small, you can't see numbers on it anyway.
Ah, you did it.
All right, wait a minute. We had it. Hit screen beam again.
Oh, you had it.
Just wing it.
It keeps.
Steve, if you want to roll
Now.
that, go.
Sure. If they start playing.
All right. I don't know why, but that's how you do it anyway.
All right. Yes, so we know it's going to be a full moon this week. Obviously, technology is not our friend today. The presentation is linked to the agenda. It will be on the website tomorrow. I'm going to run through the actual PowerPoint presentation. You can either follow along on your phones or it will be available on the website. Okay. My very first screen is the net valuation taxable total ratables. We actually have an increase in ratables. We've had a few years where ratables have decreased. 2024, our ratables are now $1,481,101. It's an increase from $1,461,192, $1 billion. But if you look at the actual site, you'll be able to see the graphs as it increases. So increasing the ratables, of course, shares that tax burden amongst everybody. So again, the economic development, we need to keep continuing in that direction. So that way it puts us in a better financial position going forward. Property tax for support of the budget. 2023, our calendar year tax rate was 1.43. In 2022, it was 1.38. This budget brings us back to 1.38. So our calendar year tax rate is going to return to the 2022 level. The levy is $20,468,226.35. If anybody's following along, the next chart is a 2024 tax rate breakdown. It's a little pie chart. Basically shows between the municipality, the school, and the county, everything's about a third of the total tax rate. Percentage of tax collections. So our tax collections have gone up and down over years. In 19, we were at 97.46%. In 20, we were 97.72. In 21, it was 98.35. In 22, it was 98.57. Last year was 98.27. So we have had a decrease in our tax collections last year. My next slide is a actual excerpt from the budget itself. It's showing the levy change per various assessed values. So depending on the actual property assessment, what you're going to see is a decrease in the local tax rate from last year based on your assessed value. So some people will see more, some people will see less. It depends on the assessed value. But essentially, this budget is reversing the increase from last budget year for the local tax rate. My next screen is an example of the cap calculation page. What it's showing is we are 82,000 underneath our appropriations cap. So even though there's a decrease in taxes, we really did not have much wiggle room to increase what this budget is presenting for this year. Our budget revenues, we are increasing our use of surplus over prior year of $263,906. Our total miscellaneous revenue is a decrease of $4,231,305. That is made up of partially the fees that were in the tax rate that are now in the solid waste utility, and also what's called the CARES Act or the American Recovery Plan Act, $3 million that was in last year's budget. Again, our local tax for municipal purpose is a decrease of $503,088.66. Our amount to be raised by taxation is about 54% of our total revenues. Fund balance is 13%. State aid is 13%. And our miscellaneous revenues, public and private revenues, construction code is 2%, and only 1% receipt from delinquent taxes. Again, our use of surplus is increased from prior years. That being said, we're looking to hopefully have some sales and some things that will actually increase what we can put back into our fund balance. Some people say surplus, I usually say fund balance, because there's not really extra. It's just money to help us going forward in future years when we have tough budgets. Analysis of general operations. Our salary and wages are increasing by $828,490. We are currently in negotiations for 4 bargaining units that expired at the end of last year, and we currently have 2 contracts that expire at the end of this year. That increase does not only just cover salaries, it's also overtime, longevity, part-time, seasonal, all the way down to crossing guards. Our other expenses is a decrease of $1,193,431. Part of that is the solid waste utility. And part of that would be the change from the CARES Act, from the ARPA money, the American Recovery Plan Act money. Deferred charges and other appropriations, $2,280,009, a decrease. Part of that is amounts that were excluded from the cap bank. A lot of times you cannot take the same exceptions year to year. There are a few exceptions to that, and that's within our budget. The other part of that total of that decrease is grants. A lot of times you don't know exactly what grants you're going to be awarded by the time you actually adopt your budget, but it's the difference from what was actually completely adopted with grants for the end of 2023. So that number gets to be a little bit of an anomaly. Capital improvements, we are increasing that by $21,500. Capital improvements can go to self-funding larger purchases, and it's also our required 5% down for any bond ordinances that we need to introduce this year and going forward. It's basically a bank of money for our capital improvement fund. Our debt service has decreased $1,377,949. part of that is a few things that were paid off last budget year, so we don't have them now. Most of those were Green Acre loans, so they would not be reoccurring. And our reserve for uncollected taxes is a decrease of $469,087. Our budget by commissioner, if we look at percent of budget, public safety is usually the largest part of any budget. You have employees that are usually, there's the most employees of an entity. They're 24/7, so they're out there on the streets all the time. So you're going to see that as a larger part of your budget. Some of the other increases are part of our normal budget and salary and wages. Grants is an anomaly because that's one of those things where it depends on what we're actually going to be awarded for grants for the total year. Utilities have decreased by $640,000. A lot of that was in order to balance this budget, and it was monies that were in excess for last budget year, and we just hope that there's no changes in the market in regards to gasoline, natural gas, things of that nature, that we only have so much control over the cost, but normally we are participants in co-ops and other ways to try to cap those increases year to year. Insurance is a decrease of $366,279. I'll go over that a little bit more in another slide. Again, our reserve for taxes is decreased. Debt's the same. Our statutory obligations, I'll go over that as well, is increased by $127,000. Statutory expenditures within the cap, so there's no exception. Our cap law applies to these items here. Our public employees retirement system increased about $13,000. When salaries go up, so security goes up, that's $28,000. Police and firemen's retirement system, that increased $541,000. A lot of times what will happen is when you have retirements, it usually doesn't hit your annual liability to the Division of Pensions until about 2 years later. Insurance. General liability and workers' compensation increased statewide. There's a portion of this that has been excluded from the cap law because so many entities within the state saw these monumental increases in those line items. A lot of these are directly contributed to the pandemic and the claims that we've saw over that time, and everything has a ripple effect, usually 1, 2, 3 years down the road. Our group health insurance is a decrease of $600,000. $300,000 was surplus from last year, fund balance from last year. What we were able to do was we had memorandums of understanding with all of our bargaining units with our unions to change the health insurance to something that was a little bit more budgetarily beneficial to the city, but also did not negatively affect any of the employees. But that does not go into effect until July 1st. It's all in agreement with the state. And if it's something that does not work out, the memorandum of understanding allows us that if things don't work and all parties are not happy with how this plans out, and we don't see a savings, then as of January 1st, we can go back to where we were. Debt service, our bond principal is decreased by $1,065,000, and of course the interest on the bonds is $213,000. I added slides for the utilities. So the water utility, we're using a little bit more surplus because the rents were a little bit lower than prior years. Our debt service has decreased. So with the decrease in debt service, what I did was I increased some of the, we were able to do an increase in the O&E so they have more money to work with for anything that they need during the year. Our problem is the money we're pulling in sometimes isn't always where it needs to be, but our expenses are going up just like anybody else. So something that cost $3,000 maybe 2 years ago is costing $6,000. And things where, you know, water utility, anything with steel, concrete, the prices have just skyrocketed, and, you know, we can't always wait for those prices to decrease if there's an emergency repair or replacement that needs to take place. Sewer utility, we actually were able to increase rents. So with the increase in rents, I decreased the use of surplus. so that we have that going forward. We also had the decrease in debt service. We know that eventually next year or so, we are going to be increasing debt service on the sewer utility for the third clarifier. But what we were able to do between canceling some capital that we did not use last year and not having that debt service payment, we increased capital for the sewer utility by $187,000. So we basically moved some money so that we have that money going forward. If we don't have it in future budget years, we'll still have it for capital for those larger expenses. The solid waste utility, what I have in here is based on the introduced budget. We do have a budget amendment that's going to decrease what we anticipated for rents, and as such, that's also going to decrease our appropriations in total. That's based on knowing that we're not going to have the collections that we were expecting, and based on what we've actually have our ratepayers and our rates. So we have adjusted that, and all that information is with the state. And that's my presentation.
Thank you, Susan.
Budget resolutions.
Okay, we have a resolution authorizing the reading of the calendar year 2024 budget by title only pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-8.
Move the resolution.
Second the motion.
A motion and a second on budget resolution. Item number 1. Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes. I authorize an open public hearing on a resolution authorizing the adoption of the calendar year 2024 budget. If anybody would like to address their concerns regarding the budget, please come to the podium, state your name. Please limit your comments to approximately 5 minutes. The lights are coming on.
Good evening, Tim Carty, Millville. I got a lot of questions since there wasn't a presentation, and I'm more visual than hearing. My first one is, since the city is under contract negotiations with numerous unions, and if there is possible settlement on the raises in their contracts, is that included in this budget?
Susan, can you please come to the front mic?
We have estimated projections in the budget.
Okay. Can I ask what the estimated projections are?
Not right offhand, that's all within the budget.
Okay. So I guess I got to figure that out on my own tomorrow then, along with the public, since we don't know what that is. Okay. With the cost of inflation, which is the annual percent of 3.36 right now, is it in the budget in case the inflation raises?
Well, we can't really budget based on inflation because we have to budget based on revenue and based on our expenses. So we can budget as best as we can based on inflation, but we don't always know what the inflation is going to be and exactly what it's going to impact.
Okay, so is it budgeted in case the inflation does raise on your supplies and your materials? Is it in there to cover that cost?
We try to the best of the limitation of the budget.
How much of an actual deduction are the taxpayers seeing out of the budget since the trash is now its own utility?
On its own, I can't speak to the specific, how it directly correlates, but there is a 5-cent decrease in the tax rate for this year.
Okay, is the 5-cent tax increase due to the trash being removed from the budget, or is that also including the $3 million used in the COVID funds?
It's both.
It's both.
The COVID fund is gone. We're not using the $3 million this year.
No. We do
So that's not
have
there.
just over 200,000 that we're using that was left over, but it's nowhere near 3 million.
Okay, so between the COVID funds and the trash coming out of the budget, we're looking at a 5-cent tax increase. Decrease.
Decrease.
Okay. As far as improvements to infrastructure, highways, roadways, sidewalks, water, sewer pipes, is any of that included in the budget?
That is part of a capital plan, and that is something that would be addressed later on once the budget's actually adopted, and we will actually have separate ordinance for that.
Okay. So you don't know how much in the contract is in case contract in the budget for the employee contract negotiations?
No,
Okay. Is that going to be?
not right offhand. I can't say this is the X number of dollars for each individual bargaining unit.
Okay, is that going to be spelled out tomorrow on the presentation on the website?
No,
No?
no, it's not part of the presentation.
Okay, do I have to do an open request to receive that information?
You can.
Okay. Thank you.
Seeing no one else, I close the public hearing on the budget amendment to the budget resolution item number 2.
Okay, so we have a resolution authorizing amendment of the calendar year 2024 budget.
Make a motion?
Second the motion.
I have a motion and a second on resolution item number 2 and budget resolutions. Any comments? Roll call?
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. And item 3 is a resolution authorizing the adoption of the calendar year 2024 budget as amended.
Move the resolution.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second as budget resolution item number 3. Any comments? Roll call?
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Resolutions, Madam Clerk.
Wow.
You want
A
we can switch jobs.
A resolution of support for suitability of cannabis business with Shipwrecked Labs LLC at Block 265, Lot 5, 1300 Wheaton Avenue.
Make the motion.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 4. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
No.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Raman?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 5 is a resolution authorizing adjustments to the tax and utility records.
Move the resolution.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 5. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 6 is a resolution authorizing the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners to restrict truck traffic on Crest Avenue, County Road 683.
Make
Move-
motion.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 6. Any comments?
Yes, if I may. This has been an ongoing situation, and I don't know if everybody knows or not, but this road is a county road. Some residents approached the county commissioners last meeting requesting basically make it a no trucks allowed road with signage on each end. I was watching the meeting. They were basically referred back to us for us to support them and send a letter of support, which is what we're doing with this resolution. I do have a quick little letter here from some residents on Crest Avenue I would like to read into the record. This is dated May 15, 2024, and written to me. We, the residents of Crest Avenue in Millville, are requesting for safety issues that the city of Millville or Cumberland County post no truck signs at both ends of Crest Avenue. Crest Avenue is a residential area with 32 family homes and 1 state-administered group home. Crest Avenue is a narrow 2-lane road with no shoulders at certain times of the year. Crest Avenue experiences heavy pedestrian and bicycle traffic. For 2 years, sand trucks have been using Crest Avenue as a shortcut between Route 49 and Mays Landing Road. The speed and weight of the trucks appears to be causing damage to the road surface. We average 10 sand trucks a day, and it finishes up with, for the safety of the residents, we feel that these signs should be installed. Thank you for your time and attention. And it has been signed by 19 residents from the Crest Avenue area. And clerk has received and filed this letter and will forward it to the county commissioners.
Roll call?
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 7 is a resolution rescinding resolution number 53-2024 adopted January 16, 2024, and authorizing the execution of an amendment to the amended and restated redevelopment agreement and 4th amendment to the purchase and sale agreement for property identified as the portion of Block 125.03, Lot 11 on the tax map of the city in the James R. Hurley Industrial Park redevelopment area with Agriterra LLC.
Move the resolution.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 7. Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vernello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 8 is a resolution awarding a professional services contract to Holly City Development Corporation to be the Urban Enterprise Zone Program Coordinator and an amount not to exceed $72,000 commencing on June 8, 2024, and terminating on June 9, 2025.
Move the resolution. I have certification of funds in the amount of $72,000 signed by the CFO, Susan Quinones, and I'll note that these funds are coming from the UEZ fund allocation.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 8. Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vernello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 9 is a resolution authorizing purchase of temporary construction easements regarding the Route 49 bridge over the Morris River superstructure replacement.
Make a motion on resolution item number 9.
Second motion?
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 9. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vernello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 10 is a resolution authorizing to extend the contract with Velasca Mechanical Incorporated of Mill Road, Vineland, New Jersey, to furnish the city of Millville with HVAC maintenance and service for an additional year from March 1st, 2024 to February 28th, 2025, in an amount not to exceed $90,000.
Make a motion to move the resolution?
Certification.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I have certification of funds from Chief Financial Officer Susan Quinones in the amount of, hang on, $90,000. And I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second with certification of funds. It's okay. It's a learning curve, Commissioner.
Sorry about that.
It's, any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vernello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 11 is a resolution amending Resolution Number 93-2024 in order to replace Commissioner Hewitt with Commissioner Vernello as a member of the CBA negotiating team for all negotiations except Council 18.
Move the resolution.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second on resolution item number 11. Any comments?
Yes. Without getting too far into detail, when negotiations are compromised by somebody on a committee that talks to the other side, and lets the other side know what the strategy is, or what the tactics are, or what the resolution will be, it's a problem. It's great. He has the respect of the firemen and they showed up, and the respect of the police and they showed up. That's all good. But what we can't have is labor negotiations being jeopardized. It's unfortunate. I've known Commissioner Hewitt for a long time. It's not really something I relish doing. I'm sorry it has become necessary to do that, but it has. And that's all I have.
Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt?
No.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vernello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
New business.
Okay, I just need a motion to authorize the following special event on public lands application pending approvals. Chalk the Walk community event sponsored by Center for Family Services on July 30th, 2024 from 5 to 7 p.m. at Corson Park.
Make a motion on new business item number 1.
Second the motion?
We have a motion and second on new business item number 1. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vernello?
Yes.
Mayor Romanek?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
We have now reached the public comment portion of our meeting. Anyone who would like to address the commission, please go to the podium, state your name and address of your concerns. Please limit your comments to approximately 5 minutes.
Brian Griffith, 334 4th Street South. So out of the $240 I paid for trash, I'm gonna get 5 cents of that back, right? Wow. How about what I already paid in taxes for the trash pickup? No answer? No answer?
I don't have one.
No one has an answer for that?
I don't believe you're gonna be getting any refund for the previous,
Well, I get a nickel.
it's not necessarily a refund, it's just been the.
Well, I get a
the
nickel
change.
deducted off my bill, right? Wow. Okay. $50 lead registration fee. What is that for?
Process of paperwork for the lead registration.
That costs $20.
Every municipality creates their own.
It costs $20.
You also have administrative costs.
I also
in there.
have a seat in a municipality.
You also have administrative costs in there. Employees to do the paperwork, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. So what do I get in return for my $50 lead registration fee? Oh, I get the privilege to pay the guy to come out to do the lead inspection, and and basically, grease you guys a little bit, right? Because the township I live in doesn't do it. My other rental property in the city of Salem's in worse shape than you guys, and they don't do it.
Wasn't it the state law that required that to be done?
Yeah, that's why it's being done.
I'm being
Otherwise, we
charged
wouldn't do it.
$50. Why?
Because the state changed the law and then they require these inspections.
Okay, now, they required these inspections started a couple years ago, correct?
I don't have the effective date, but it's recent.
2022?
I'm not certain.
I am. Why did the city of Millville decide not to enforce these until January and then mandate it be done by July?
Had to do it sooner or later, that's all I can tell you, so we did it. It's
Why
not- it's-
wouldn't
believe-
you-
It's not that we wanted to do it, we certainly didn't want to do it. We get all kind of, and it's not just lead
You just
inspections.
put it off.
We tried.
You tried, yeah.
Well-
You just tried.
Once we get letters from the state saying do it, we do it.
But the law from the state said this is when it was supposed to start.
You'll
It's a
see,
major inconvenience for me, because it would have been a hell of a lot easier to do when the house was empty. Now I have to move tenants around to do it. And any abatement, then I really have to move them around. What else do I have When should I, oh, yeah, my other question was, when should I look for the tax reduction? Well, okay, we already got it, 5 cents. And you guys wonder why your
well,
ratables are down.
where do you live? You're supposed to state your address.
Where do I live?
Yeah.
Or where do I own in
Where do you
Millville?
live?
I live in Morris River Township.
Okay, thank you.
I pay taxes over
I
here
understand.
on 334 4th Street South.
Okay.
And you guys are charging me for trash pickup, and yet you just got trash blowing up and down the street. I could actually stop it. When I was at the house doing work on it, every day I had to pull trash off my lawn that's blowing down your street. And yet you're gonna charge me. And the truth of the matter is, you basically shouldn't have been charging an apartment complex. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Kurt Hess, 435 Crest Avenue. On behalf of the residents of Crest Avenue, I'd like to thank the commission for moving this letter over to the county, and hopefully we can get a resolution to this situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Tim Cardy, Millville. I got a question. Last meeting, we had an emergency demolition that didn't go out to bid supposedly at the Millville Airport for about 4 buildings. Am I correct? My question is, if it's an emergency demolition, how come the buildings are still standing? They've been that way for a year now with the fence around it. Emergency demolition would be considered something right away. And maybe it should have went out to bid so we could get a cheaper price than $65,000.
My understanding is the fencing is down in places, it's an attractive nuisance, and the concern of the construction code official is that children would play in the buildings and might be injured if a building collapsed.
I've been riding by them buildings for 2 years, going out to the airport to coach soccer, and them fences are not taken down. And I know they've been up at least for a year. I just went by there last Saturday, and all the fences are still intact.
Well, there are areas where they're apparently not intact, according to the construction code officer.
Okay, so if they weren't intact, why didn't somebody go out there and fix them instead of calling it an emergency, which the buildings are still standing there? And my question is, if the fences are still down, have they been fixed? Because I didn't see any fences there that were laying on the ground or anything as of last Saturday. I mean, didn't we just go through this whole emergency demolition court case on the Main Street property, Commissioner Suey, that you took the commission to court and lost?
That's correct. I did take the commission to court to save $2 million, and I lost.
So here
So
we are
I guess
again.
So I lost. and
We
that
got an
was-
emergency
May
demolition
I
and the
answer
buildings are
question?
still
You asked me a
standing.
question. Would you like me to answer it? If not, stop talking. So I lost, and that demolition went on for, God, I don't know, 8 months, roughly. So this one hasn't, there are time limits. I do not believe they've been exceeded yet for the emergency demolition.
I was just wondering why it wasn't out to bid if it was such a big emergency. I'd have thought, myself being in emergency services, it's an emergency and my type of work, it gets taken care of right away. Thank you.
Rose Sias, Millville. My questions are on these cannabis businesses. We saw one letter of support that was voted on May 7th for the Kylie Flower Genetics, and that was for cultivating of the marijuana. And in the same area, we have the one tonight, the Shipwreck marijuana, which sounds like it's a lab. So it sounds like they're two different things. So my question is, this huge Wheaton property, how many different businesses can we place in this area? Is there, it sounds like it's going to be a big business there with all different types of cannabis businesses.
You're here to address the commission.
Yes.
So that would depend on the size that they require and the size of the building. The building's already there, so if they require 10,000 square feet and there's 10,000 square feet available, there could be a business there. If the space isn't there, then they can't be there.
Okay, but it sounds like this whole area is going to be set aside for cannabis businesses?
I don't know if the whole building will be cannabis business or not. It doesn't matter to me, really.
You also see a lot, we approve a certain amount, but you also see us rescind that probably equal amount.
Right.
So whether they stay is one thing. It's stay, that's great. The city receives 2% gross tax.
Okay, thank you.
Patricia Kears, 409 Peach Drive. I'm a little confused with the airport development. The Delaware River Port Authority leases it from us. Is that correct?
They lease part of the airport, the airport from us,
The
yes.
airport.
Not all of Bogdan Boulevard, not all that, but there's a section that they lease from us.
Okay. So when you go down Bogdan on the right, there are like all open spaces, and you can look and see the old Carlisle building. You can see all that space. Is that the DRPA, or is that
From- do you
us?
recall? I can't recall. Joe, do you recall? I don't think the Carlisle building is. It shouldn't be, right? I don't-
Well, we have to look at a,
I'd have to
maybe
look at the map.
look at a map.
Okay,
It is,
so,
the Carlisle building is. But I'd have to look, I'd have to have the map in front of me, and I don't.
okay, and then on the other side of Bogdan, where like the airport, the club used to be, the Yuki Club used to be, Is that Delaware River Port Authority or Millville?
I would have to have a map in front of me, and I
Just-
would have to say exactly where you were pointing.
Okay.
Because I know if I don't give you the exact information, I will hear about it later. So you're welcome to come to City Hall. I'll be more than happy to get the map out, and you can look at everything.
Okay, we'll do that tomorrow morning. So my
Not
next
tomorrow morning,
question.
we won't, 'cause I have to go to the
Okay.
doctor.
My next question is, if we own some of that property, why aren't we taking this $2 million bond and building what we need to build for storage?
A, it takes too long. B, the main reason is it would take too long. And the cost of us building something, we have to pay rate. So in other words, the handicap ramp out front, $48,000. Why? Because we have to pay rate. So if we build something for rate, you're looking at probably a year to build it, right? So we need something at least till we built something, and it would probably be at least $2 million, at least.
And you wouldn't be able to use any of the additional money that you get for South 15th Street on that to add to it?
Well, we could use it all, but then what would have been the point of selling 15th Street?
I don't know, you would get a great storage spot, and you wouldn't be in the dilemma of trying to put Band-Aids on it. Thank
I
you.
don't think we should put Band-Aids on it, but that's my opinion.
I'm feeling left out. Anthony DeSantis, how are you today? First of all, I'd like to say thank you for allowing me to speak. Secondly, I'd like to give you some kudos. You did an excellent job with the budget. You followed generally accepted accounting principles. It was presented in a very intelligent and professional manner. The young lady was very detailed. So on behalf of the people of the city of Millville, I want to thank you because I certainly understand exactly what was done and what you were trying to portray. But then again, finance is my background. Regarding the demo of the building, I understand your dilemma. I'm living it. You know, there are circumstances beyond our control that does create delays. So even though it's an emergency situation, such in some of our cases, you know, we have people that we answer to, and we do have to follow some outside of authority. Thirdly, the gentleman was here complaining about taxes and waste and how you're spending the city's money. Well, I happen to think the opposite. I think you guys are doing an excellent job at trying to bring in businesses and to promote the city of Millville. I've heard many times on how Kirk is out there. He has the police department to clean up the city and to remove a lot of the homelessness or the crimes that are committed by some of the people out in the area. God knows, and he's seen it, how many times people have come to break into our facility, creating in the millions with an S dollars of damage. Okay? So I do want to say thank you to the police department who've been excellent, the fire department in their rescue, that they've been there a couple of times, and they were right on point. So Kurt, on behalf of myself, the people behind me, the city of Millville, please thank everybody on our behalf. Brock and I have had a couple of conversations. I've asked him questions, and he's kind of led me in the right direction. And I understand a little bit better on how city government works. It's not like small business. You cannot just go out and hire somebody and pay them minimum wage or $20 an hour. There's what's called prevailing wages, and there's guidelines and rhetorics that you have to follow. And we understand that, and you know, what we want to say is thank you for dealing with it on our behalf, because you couldn't pay me enough money to deal with that. So thank you. The last thing is money. Everybody's complaining about their taxes. Everybody's questioning cannabis. Well, do you know that cannabis pays you 3% off their earnings, lowering your tax budget, your tax revenue? Every single individual in this room.
2%.
How much is it?
2%.
2%? 2%. There you go. That's how much I know. 2% that they have to pay to the city of Millville. That money at the end of the year, allows the city to budget them numbers to make it more affordable for the citizens to live here. What else is there? That's basically it. Thank you very much for your time. I want to thank you in advance. In conclusion, we really appreciate the hard work that everyone has done over here. And Madam Commissioner, welcome to the commission.
Thank you.
It is nice to see some young blood from the old neighborhood.
Thank you.
Be good.
Thank you, Mr. DeSantis. Seeing no one, I close the public comment portion. Closing comments of commissioners. Commissioner Hewitt.
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Ranello.
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Watson.
Nothing.
Vice Mayor Suya.
Just a couple things. So Susan, our CFO, talked about grants, so we have some grants that we are, a couple we got not selected for, which was North 10th Street and Cates Boulevard and the airport drainage improvement. We did not get selected for that. That's a shame we didn't, but we did get selected for refunding, redoing Pleasant Drive, so that's good. That'll be coming up sometime this year. Actually, we're overall cost of the improvements completed was $2.5 million in NGDOT funded improvements. You see work on Broad Street right now. I had a question about that. That's the county doing those curbs and ramps. The county is doing those curbs and ramps. So that's all I have.
I'd like to thank my fellow Vice Mayor and Commissioners. It's not easy sometimes in government work, as Commissioner Ranello, she's probably vastly experiencing it. We're up here to make those hard decisions. Sometimes not easy. Sometimes we make decisions that we versus against one another. But we work as a governing body collectively. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. Robert Collier. Can I have a motion for adjournment?
Make motion?
Second motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Motion adjourned. Thank you, everybody.